if you sit down with a young lady, they're far more likely to talk about micro topics, and men are more likely to talk about macro topics.
What's the difference between micro and macro?
Great question. So if I sat down with a young lady, she'd be much more likely to talk about friends, relationships, and things that are very intimate to her. A young man would be more likely to talk about the weather, sports, or the stock market, or politics. For example, in a Harvard study, they put 50 women in a room alone, and they put 50 men in the room alone.
What age?
Not relevant, but around 25, right?
Relevant. Okay.
So
no, sorry, I'm actually having so much fun.
25-year-olds were put into a room, okay?
Right.
And they said, men, what do you think about when they're alone? No surprise, sports and sex,
Yeah.
right? Young ladies, what do you think about in the room alone for 30 minutes just by themselves? They replayed prior conversations that they had. For the record, no man in the history of the species has replayed conversations that we had and thought about them when we were alone in a room.
Whoa. I think that you just lied that all men don't think. That's such a...
It's called a joke. I'm sure there's a man
okay.
somewhere that recollected on a conversation.
Well, I didn't know that in a dialect that's a debate based on science and you're talking about a study. That would you implement a joke that's based on a
Yes,
truth?
humor is a tool of a rhetorician to try to get people, to chuckle, a little levity. So, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Do you believe that conservatives are a danger to society?
Absolutely. They don't want to know who we are. They don't want to believe that we're real.
What is a woman?
A woman's a girl with an vagina, but also there are men who want to be that, and they get that.
But are they actually a woman?
They're a woman. They're a woman in their heart and soul.
So they're not a real woman.
They're a real woman as long as they believe they are, and in their heart they are, and they feel that they are.
So can I be a sloth?
We need. Here you are. I gotta get these guys.
We're missing our group.
Why should my right to choose be dependent on your viewpoint?
Well, I guess the other question is, do you think that there is right science and wrong science?
Yeah.
Okay, so science will prove me correct. For example,
Science does not prove you correct.
well, okay, let me build it out. How tall you are, your eye color, your weight disparity, your tastes were all put into place at that moment of conception.
I do not believe that that is true.
No, it actually is true. So it's called DNA. It's called deoxyribonucleic acid. So for example, how tall you are right now, or how tall you could be, absent medical intervention, your eye color, your skin color, your hair color was all decided at that moment. So basically, the blueprint for your life came into being at that moment. Therefore, it is your life. It is the beginning of your life. Mm-hmm. And what distinguishes you from your mother is that you have two separate forms of DNA.
Yeah,
so I believe you should be able to do what you want with your body, and I believe that everybody should be able to not be interfered with in their body. Therefore, if it's not your DNA, it's not your choice.